Let's take a look now at chip stocks. Nvidia leading those names lower today, extending those losses fueled by tariff and AI spending fears. The chip giant has already shed $1 trillion in value since hitting a fresh record high earlier this year. And when it comes to the Nvidia story, obviously a huge run, right? Up 800% in 2 years, but several factors colliding at once that make the sell-off that we're seeing sort of make sense when it comes to tariff uncertainty, export controls from the Trump administration. Then you've got DeepSeek pointing to questions about whether or not the amount of money that these hyperscalers are spending on AI is actually necessary. Could that be a downswing for Nvidia's sales? And then you've got the overall question of economic growth moving forward. All of that creates a scary soup when it comes to the Nvidia story. What is standing out to you when it comes to what's driving the sell-off here and any potential for recovery?
You know, I'm much more focused on the DeepSeek issue than I am on the tariff issue. And the reason for that is, and we've seen this, the way in which the tariffs have started to be rolled out have been in fits and starts already, right? And there's been a lot of posturing and then a pullback with negotiation. And tariffs can be changed, you know, not quite on a policy whim, but pretty close. The emergence of DeepSeek waking up the market and saying, hey, guess what? Perhaps there's a way to get more of these big models, more of this groundbreaking AI work done more cheaply, I think has really forced analysts to go back to the drawing board and say, are our assumptions around cost efficiency correct? Now, on the flip side, and this is where I think CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang, is just such a fantastic communicator. He did come out, do you remember, on earnings day and say, no, look, this was actually proof that for every dollar the hyperscalers invest, the productivity is going to be greater, which makes it even more attractive. Yes, of course, from a return on investment a perspective, that makes a ton of sense. But we don't really know which way it's going to land quite yet. And I do think sometimes we talk about what's the catalyst for a market move. Sometimes it's just something that forces folks to go back to their assumptions and question, is what we thought was the case really the case anymore? And to me, DeepSeek was that moment.
And I wonder how you're thinking about, okay, let's say AI is cheaper, right?
Yeah.
And that means that, you know, you don't need the best GPUs in the world from Nvidia, and that weighs on their margins. What about the fact that Jensen Huang, you just think he's a good CEO, and maybe there's growth when it comes to robotics, maybe there's growth in self-driving cars and other forms of automation. Is that enough of a bull case for investors in Nvidia?
The physical AI, right? That's what he's come out and called it. I think right now people are saying maybe it is, but I don't know. And I'm re-underwriting, and I'm taking the new data, and I'm starting to look for new facts, right? I think it's only now that the market has said, okay, well, we better go check out that thing that Jensen Huang talked about, which is things like robotics. And you're starting to see more of that narrative come into play. But, you know, if you look at what's happened, TSMC, as you said, Madison, had pretty good news out today, up nearly 40% revenue for the 2 months so far this year, but the share price is down. Right, so I think if you look at ARM, the share price is down year to date. I just think that, you know, there's a real re-underwriting going on right now. And suddenly other parts of the economy are looking more attractive, like defense, for example, as Omar, our guest, just said, other parts of consumer staples. So I think we have to wait and see.
Yeah, seeing a lot of momentum unwinding happening under the hood of the market. And it's really important to take a look at those semi stocks. You can see Marvell, too, really tough over the last 5 days, down over 20%.